Hey, welcome to Aural Hygiene, where we talk about educational and caught films like I Am. With me today is a man. He's a man.
Am I though?
You're a man. Oh,
Am
the man.
I?
You're not the man, are you? I don't have the
I'm
man
the
on this
fuzz.
podcast.
I'm the fuzz,
It's the,
man.
it's the
This is
popo.
over.
Okay.
I'm shutting this club down.
Rightio. So thanks for joining us today. Join us next week from the Pokey. But yes, it is the trip
There
from
are no
19
police, man.
from 1967. It seems like there are like a lot of the trips, but this is the only one that matters. I'm going to be plenty snarky about this movie, but as I qualify that with the fact that this has remained in like my personal top 10 for like 25 years.
I've never really liked this movie that much, but I do like all the people who put it together. So it's like, and my grievances with it are very like nitpicky. Like I just don't feel like it goes anywhere, which
No,
is
no,
probably unfair.
that's a trip, man.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip to I I like drug movies, but I also kind of like when there's like either the
Coherence.
guy's doom, where it's like there's doom, even if it's just like some unfair like pretenses about drugs that aren't real. I like when there's either doom or some kind of revelation or death or just plain old exploitation or screaming. I don't know. It just sort of everybody sort of gets out of this okay, and that kind of feels like a cheat, I guess.
Okay, so having said that, can you give this one like a plot?
The A man who has no business taking LSD takes LSD while being babysat by a man who possibly doesn't actually believe in LSD, but either way is a terrible babysitter.
Yeah, okay, that's true. And then he kind of runs amok in late 60s LA.
Yes. That some of my favorite things happen when he runs amok.
Yeah. So I first saw this I think I saw this at the Georgia State Theater.
I'm pretty sure you showed me this movie, and that was the first time I saw it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember taking a trip to the downtown Atlanta and seeing it there on a special screening. So at least I got to see it on proper film the first time. So
That's cool.
excuse me.
You ran amok in real life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, watching the movie doesn't put you on an acid trip. Yeah, folks, you should know that.
I'm not really.
If you're watching
I'm
this
not-
movie to experience an acid trip, this is not the movie for you.
Well, it was as I'm sure you knew, but I had read up on the movie for the first time after watching it and found out that Bruce Dern was the only person involved who refused to take an acid trip to see what acid was like. And Bruce Dern plays the babysitter, so it makes perfect sense. Where he just seems like I'm not sure how much this was improvised, but he keeps saying things that you should never say to someone who's doing drugs, like constantly.
Yeah.
Like if someone is doing acid, just so everyone, this is just straight up common sense. If someone's doing acid and they're like, man, I saw a bunch of executioners, you'd be like, did you? No, you don't. You don't say that.
No,
Like,
you
never.
didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't see that, man.
No, man. Just he like never tries to de-escalate. He's just like, really? Whoa, man. It's just ridiculous.
You're gonna die. Um, so
he took he took improv classes, but like no first aid or whatever babysitter classes.
yeah. For the, I mean, well, hopefully people saw this or not. Maybe they didn't. But yeah, the on-screen and off-screen names here are notable. Bruce Dern being the only one who didn't trip. So people who did take lots of acid would be Peter Fonda, who took
And
so
Jack
much acid. Well,
Sorry,
he's not on screen. We're on screen. We're
Well,
on
he-
screen.
Okay.
Dennis Hopper, I guess. No, Peter Fonda. I was going to say he took so much acid that he inspired Beatles songs. You know.
I was from what I read, it was like Jack Nicholson, Peter Fonda, and I guess not Roger Corman. Who else was
No, Roger Corman did take a trip. For
Roger
this movie.
Corman? Yeah, okay, yeah.
He took like one trip just as like quote unquote research.
So yeah, I've never really thought of Roger Corman as much of a psychedelic
Right.
shaman or
It, it,
anything.
it
And I
was
think that might be part of the issue I have with this is it feels a little bit outsidery.
yeah, that honestly that's part of what I like about it. But we'll get to that. But yeah, Pierre Fonda, Dennis Hopper, also probably well versed in tripping.
Yes, amazingly, Dennis Hopper took drugs.
Are we sure about that?
I, from what I'm told, he was unemployable for about 20 years after this because he took drugs, or after Easy Rider, that is.
I think he was probably unemployable while making Easy Rider. And then he made, what was it, the last movie? I think that's the name of it, something like the last movie, which is a complete mess.
I haven't actually seen that. I know he made Out of the Blue, which I haven't seen that either. I wanted to, but
because Easy Rider is a mess, but it just happens to work, you know?
Yeah. That's also, that is not an outs that is a very insider type of a film. I don't know. That's what it's really like. I think
when this movie came out, Susan Strasberg was considered a notable star, although that name doesn't really hit any bells today, I guess.
Nope.
Okay, so we'll move on from that.
Did she take acid?
I don't know. Probably. I think Bruce Dern was the lone holdout. Maybe.
Yeah.
He wasn't fun, man. It wasn't fun as a babysitter. I mean, he's fantastic in this movie, isn't he? But
he is a great presence, but his character doesn't make any sense. But apparently, he had to ask Roger Corman what LSD was. So, 1967.
Bruce Dern was not hep, man.
No.
One. Did you catch the quote? I keep saying quote unquote. Did you catch the kind of flash in your miss it cameo?
No. What are you talking about? The which one?
The band on
I guess
stage.
I didn't. The Graham Parsons thing?
Yeah. That was the International Submarine Band, and you're definitely not hearing the International Submarine Band.
I unfortunately don't know what like Graham Parsons looks like, so that's I had to read that on IMDb.
Okay, no, I recognize him.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Maybe you're not into Cosmic Americana. I don't know.
I mean, I've listened to a bunch of it, but I haven't like watched any of it. If that makes sense.
I get it. But what you are hearing is the Electric Flag, which I always thought I loved the Electric Flag because of this movie, but it turns out I don't really like any of their other recordings. Even though they have Mike Bloomfield on guitar, who is one of the best guitarists ever. He played on Dylan's mid-60s stuff. So, but yeah, I love the soundtrack to this.
Yeah, soundtrack's great. There is some really cool experimental stuff. It just, it feels like the experimental stuff is kind of spread out and spliced in so much because maybe they just didn't have enough money to do like a solid chunk of it.
Yeah, this is AIP, directed by Roger Corman. Of course, they didn't. This is like the definition of not having money.
Well, it was like the sex scene where it was like where a kaleidoscope projected on them while they were doing it. That was pretty interesting.
I guess
that worked
I was
pretty well.
gonna say sex is too awkward if you're tripping, but that was all in his mind anyway. So I guess it's okay.
Yeah, it probably doesn't have to be.
You don't know where to put things in that case sometimes, right? Where you get distracted. Maybe you get distracted.
I'm sure you can figure it out. Especially in the 60s, man.
So I jumped on you. I was like, we're on screen, but yeah, Jack Nicholson wrote it, though you don't see Jack Nicholson because he was a screenwriter at this specific point of time, also writing The Monkey's Head.
I believe wasn't something like Jack Nicholson wanted to star in it, and Roger Corman was like, "No, forget it, you can't."
I don't know. Would Jack Nicholson be groovy in this movie?
Well, imagine if he was playing Peter Fonda's role and he just went kind of like shining with it towards the end. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That could be.
I feel like that
thing.
I feel like that was always Peter Fonda's role.
Yeah, I mean, Peter. Yeah, I can't like. I'm not going to sit here and criticize Peter Fonda as the leading man. That's ridiculous. He's great.
Maybe he replaces Bruce Dern as the babysitter. That would be. I mean, he'd be like way creepier because you can't replace Dennis Hopper either. Dennis Hopper's already there. No. I mean,
no.
You got Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda in the same movie. That's special. That only happens once every few movies.
That's true. Yeah, like I said, it's like even if though I'm not a huge fan of the film itself, it's like I love everyone who's involved with it. So even the actors I didn't really know or recognize, the lady in the laundromat.
This is like you go to Disneyland, right? And you get the booklet at the front that,
Mhm.
reminds you of all the fun stuff at Disneyland. This is like that for like 1967. Like it's not really authentic, but it's not wrong necessarily. It's got all
Yeah,
the right pieces there. It's official. This has the
it's a
official.
yeah. It was even though to me it's like the bar in this movie really looked like a set. It may not have been a set. It looked like a set to me, because it looked just ridiculously spaced out. But
That would be my bar if I ever opened a bar.
that's good. I'd go to that.
Yeah, yeah.
But probably wouldn't be that. It would either be much smaller than that, or all the drinks would be like $30 or what 3,000 yen.
I huh. There's like a glitch in the matrix. Our images are all freaky on your end.
Nope.
There's a
Normal.
ghost in the machine. Okay, who cares? Um, I don't watch this anyway. If you are watching and you're seeing weirdness, sorry, we're tripping.
Yeah, I don't
Internet,
watch this either. Internet,
the
come at
internet,
me.
the internet is tripping right now. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, I mean it's got like a who's who of like Laurel Canyon stuff. Are you familiar with the whole Laurel Canyon thing?
Not really. No.
That's just like Elektra Records is in there. That's where the Manson or no, maybe it's the next canyon over, but yeah. And you can get into the weird thing with like the CIA like made all the psychedelia and stuff. There's fun conspiracy theories about that.
Is it like MK Ultra? Are these like MK Ultra participants?
Sort of kind of because Laurel Canyon has this film studio, which is apparently is used by the military. So they don't make actual movies there, but at the same time, it's the most productive film studio around.
Hmm.
They just don't make things for the public. They're making all like military films
And perhaps moon landing videos.
and moon landing video. Yeah, that would be where they shot the moon landing videos. Have you heard the mildly the more milk toast conspiracy theory version of that yes, Kubrick did shoot the moon footage, but that's because basically what they got from the moon was unusable.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that he shot moon footage just in case that like the astronauts blew up and they had to cover it up.
That too, yeah, just in case they had him doing it just in case, which actually makes a lot of sense. I could see that happening. That's just covering your bases,
Where there's the whole thing where like the New York Times has like the front page obituary for every president, like as soon as they're elected.
Right,
they have it ready to go. Like they have, I think it was what is it like Dan Rather had like just showed somebody like, look, I got this obituary here. I can't remember what was the deal with that, but yeah.
I was thinking of the Dana Carvey show where they have him on as maybe it's Ted Koppel, like he wants to go on vacation, so they have him just recording a bunch of video obituaries about Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford died today. He was mauled by a pack of tigers. It's like, that's not going to happen. Hey, we just need to cover our bases, man. So it's like, you want to go on vacation, you do this.
All right, Stanley Kubrick, film an obituary for JFK right now.
Yeah. But and I feel like I mean, it is a fake window into that scene, but it's it's like if we went to make a movie about like our scene, man, like it would be fake, right? It wouldn't be like
Yeah, I think it's a weird mix of like montage and it's a weird mix of like montage and obviously sort of reused sets from other things.
I think
and
isn't Bruce House in like a bunch of movies?
I don't know. I'm not like super familiar with his body of work.
Okay. I mean not like I mean it's not his house. I'm just saying it's been in a lot of movies, I think.
I don't. Oh, you mean the house in this movie? Yeah, I mean it looks familiar. I thought the opening scene looked really familiar as far as like it just looked like a beach that I'd seen 100 times.
Right, was
like that. Yeah, probably.
So like when you plotted, you're like a man who has no business taking LSD, but played by a man who took all of the LSD.
Yeah, I mean, just give him nothing to do. I think that's
I think it's the red sweater. The sweater was not hip.
Or give him too much to do, maybe. Yeah, maybe it is the sweater. I don't know. It's like they gave him a story that was really kind of a bare bones, but then if you give someone too many instructions, then it comes off as I put in my notes that there wasn't enough laughing. Like, I feel like nobody who does acid is going to not laugh at all.
Yeah. Well, he just gets really interested in like an orange man.
Yeah. But it's like almost maybe if Bruce Dern calmed him down a little bit more, he would be fine and would be laughing and having fun, and definitely wouldn't have just run off.
Yeah.
And thought he was dead.
Yeah. Going into the closet was fantastic. What I like is what I love is after he sees the not dead Bruce Dern, he just like takes a picture and then runs. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it takes a picture with a manual camera and just
Yeah, you can't check that one for a few weeks, I guess. But
nope.
But yeah, I do like how each of the montage sequences kind of take on like a different aspect of experimental film.
That's true, and it was really cool how at the end of it tied it together, where the people chasing him on a horseback was his lover and his ex-wife. I mean,
Yeah.
after that was at least planned. I sort of thought maybe it was just random, like they just had a couple of guys that were like on the set of Planet of the Apes. They were just like, hey, come over here and chase this guy for a second.
Yeah.
I'm just too used to Star Trek, and then that's like always what happens with the Star Trek, just reuses stuff because they had to.
Things reusing. Oh, sorry. There we go. Dun 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 dun. There's a few things reused from this movie that I thought was interesting. One, he has kind of like a hippie Luke Skywalker look, right? When he's in his dream sequences, and he kind of goes into the cave to face his self, Darth Vader style, I guess. So yeah. I don't really know if that. Well, I guess Lucas was around this scene, so maybe he did have that in mind. But the other one that's way more explicit is the joint passing scene is completely recreated in Easy Rider. Where the camera makes a complete 360 of joint passing. That's like,
man, I was too high to notice, man. I didn't notice.
It's in the Commune and Easy Rider, but yeah, here it was clearly done that way. Let's see what else we have. I think. Oh yeah, I wondered if Bruce was actually trying to seduce Peter Fonda.
There's definitely a little vibe of that for a while. It's like you're beautiful, man, and he like strokes his hair. I'm like,
yeah. So that was honestly, I think running was probably the correct thing to do. I mean, he did not.
The thing about part of the reason why he's a bad babysitter is the stuff that makes him a bad babysitter also gives him the vibe of like, did this guy drug me? Because he's like, oh yeah, man, tell me all about it. Really? He sort of has that look to him where I was like, is this guy like up to something? But he really just sort of had no idea what drugs were.
Yeah.
And I think Roger Corman sort of just got out of the way, which, why not?
It's kind of like suggested like he's the pro at this, right? But he doesn't really seem to have any actual knowledge.
Yeah, he's like, what, really? Oh man, so what? You're dying? Whoa, cool. It was really weird. That's a baffling performance. I'll just say that.
And how do you respond to something like the living room? Let's go to the living room.
Yeah, it's the way you said. That was one of my favorites. That was probably my favorite part of any of the scenes between them, because it's like, yeah, man, the way you said it, that's kind of real. Even though maybe, I don't know. I think a lot of drugs is like saying things weird and laughing at how weird they are, but nobody was laughing. So
we do need to consider his out and about interactions. He goes into someone's house and gets a small girl milk, which is a little creepy of a scene.
When that scene ended, I was like, oh wait, that was real. I was like, I thought he was hallucinating it.
He's making bad decisions for sure. And then the lady in the laundromat as well. So
that was probably my favorite scene in the whole film.
Why
because
is
it was
that?
just sort of like,
Tell me about
because
it.
it was just an intimate scene between two people, and it was like one person who was just out of their mind and another person who is like clearly the kind of person who would indulge an insane person until it was too late, meaning the woman in the laundromat, which
Yeah.
it
Was
was
that
it was a great little scene. I love that.
Peter Fonda? He's just a teddy bear. It doesn't even seem like worth using their character names talking about this movie. It's like, no, we're watching Peter Fonda. We're watching Bruce Dern.
I tried to write down their names whenever possible, and they just keep leaving my brain.
Yeah, it's like, no, I just kept writing Peter. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's like a mockumentary, you know, like let's document our own lives, but let's like not do it for real.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dennis Hopper is playing himself in this.
Yeah. They actually went to Dennis Hopper's house probably.
Yeah, that was real weed at Dennis Hopper's real house. His real friends.
Yeah, they just come on over and film, man. It's cool.
Hey man, you're gonna start filming? What? It's over already? What?
Wow, what a trip.
I mean, I want to say right here, but of course Dennis Hopper is a consummate professional, but I mean, who the hell knows? Really? Unemployable Dennis Hopper. I mean,
it's consummate professional, right?
Consummate professional.
Maybe that's what I like about this movie. It is just on a weird edge of like Hollywood production and like being unhinged, where Easy Rider is just completely unhinged, right?
Yeah, but also Easy Rider has a pretty clear narrative thrust. I don't know. It has a even though it's sort of a slice of life movie, it still has it feels like there are stakes and the story moves, and this sort of just hanging out, kind of like a Kevin Smith movie, which
that's kind of what I like about it, though. We're just kind of hanging out, right? I mean, like you said, you like the drug movie that has the narrative that ends in death and destruction or madness, right? So, but this one's just kind of hanging out. We're gonna trip with the consummate hippies for a few minutes and then get on out of there.
Yeah, like the last movie I saw that I think is a really good drug movie is probably Midsummer, and you know how that ends.
No, actually, I don't because I haven't seen it, but
great mushroom portrayal in that film.
Okay. His last interaction, he meets the like super judgmental waitress in the hippie bar.
Yeah, it's somebody who apparently has never met anyone who's on drugs before. She's like, "Oh, wait, you're on drugs."
It's like a Sunset Strip 1967 like psychedelic club. It's like she's never seen. Maybe it's her first day.
I don't know.
She just came in from Nebraska. You know, she's going to make it big in the film business. And hey, she has a featured performance in the trip, so I guess it worked out well for her.
Yeah, as we all know, she went on to someone check IMDb. Someone check at IMDb and yell at the podcast. Someone's like, she was in something.
She was the guiding light.
It turned out the end of the soap opera Guiding Light that she was the guiding light the whole time.
The guiding light. I gotta add the if you talk about guiding light, I think.
At the end of the series, the angel on the Christmas tree came to life and nuked the town, and she was the guiding light, and that's who that was.
Right. See, we're soap opera. You know, we know all about it.
I hope someone's yelling at the podcast about how that's incorrect. But you were saying that there is a version where at the end of it the screen cracks, implying that he was insane. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I feel like the studio requested that, so it didn't come across as a pro-drug movie. And I think my DVD does it, but I watched on YouTube last night, and it does not do that. It just goes straight into all the like kaleidoscopic imagery, which is my favorite end credit sequence ever, by the way.
It's a great end credit sequence, but I do like the idea that they were just like, but he's insane. You know, I sort of like the end of Drunken Master 2, where Jackie Chan was like just mentally like was brain damaged from drinking all the gasoline, but they cut that out for the American version because it was problematic.
I usually give options for my students. I'm like, what's your favorite drink? And if they're still staring at me because they're a foreign language lesson, and they're confused. I could start giving options like, okay, milk, melon soda, gasoline. Sometimes kids choose gasoline.
All right.
There's some other ones I throw in, toilet water sometimes.
I mean, toilet water, that could be even worse if it was eau de toilette.
Yeah,
I want to drink
really.
that.
No, yeah, okay. Anyways,
but then that's like, what are they going to be doing? What are they doing taking English if they're going to go to France?
right, okay. I'm still thinking about that. Okay.
That was designed to break your brain. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing about the waitress, she was basically in a Star Trek uniform. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, man, it was Trek times, wasn't it?
Yeah, she just needed like the Delta on her shirt, and she would have been there.
Yeah.
Can you be entertained by looking at a swirling washing machine? I think I could be entertained by that.
I was just like, in the 60s, you could just operate a washing machine without the lid on. That's super dangerous.
What? I think you can still do that.
Nope.
Oh, maybe Japanese ones do that because they assume people aren't idiots more, I guess.
Yeah. Japan is definitely like a no training wheels kind of a society. Where you probably would just be like, yeah, you can actually kill yourself with any of your appliances if you just don't know how to don't know to close the door first.
So I'm relatively obsessed with weird psychedelia and stuff, and for me this is sort of like if someone was like, I want to see weird psychedelia, I'd probably point them to this film. Where would you point them? I feel like maybe you've got something else on your mind.
Holy Mountain.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's so much metaphor and stuff, right? Because this is like you said, this is kind of Kevin Smith hanging out, maybe, which is the appeal for me, but you maybe don't want that.
I mean, I tend to like things that are very like unflinching and just even just the end of 2001, or you just watch 2001 entirely, because then you basically are kind of slowly taken off guard for 2 hours and then hit with some of the most upsetting psychedelic stuff ever.
And you should play Pink Floyd's Echoes when it has the Jupiter Beyond the Infinite. That's when you start Pink Floyd's Echoes. Works out perfectly. Not like the Wizard of Oz thing. Not like
that doesn't work.
That does not work at all, because I had, when I was student teaching, the real teacher was lazy, and he decided all of his classes that day he was going to play Dark Side of the Moon and Wizard of Oz. Does not work, for sure.
Nope. I used to volunteer at a local movie theater, and we tried it with an actual film print of Wizard of Oz, and it didn't work. And we tried the Flaming Lips version with the film print of the Wizard of Oz, and that didn't work either.
Okay, well, try the end of 2001 and Echoes. That will work.
Okay, we'll do that.
Maybe that's my other go-to. If of course, that you start the movie there, you have even less narrative structure, don't you?
Yeah. Well, hey, think, what other psychedelic recommendations? I just I feel like that's as far as recent films, both The Green Knight and the new Candyman are very psychedelic.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I've heard a little bit about both, but have not come across either. So
those are probably in my top 5 movies for this year. Those are both very slow, intense, unflinching. Green Knight is almost like a cross between 2001 and Dead Man.
Okay,
which is another one. I would recommend Dead Man to someone who was
down with some black and white,
who was absolutely not feeling like depressed. That's something. I love that movie very much. That's a tough pill, but it's an amazing film, and very that's what I was talking about as far as doom. I mean, Johnny Depp, I think, is just pretty much on mushrooms or dying the entire time.
And yeah, of course, I would, that's in black and white. I do agree it's highly psychedelic, but for the gold standard, I need some Technicolor. So
check out The Green Knight. I think you'll be into it.
Okay, groovy.
And Midsummer, Midsummer again. If you have to make sure you're not feeling terribly depressed to watch Midsummer, because that's also kind of a downer.
Right. I guess we're wrapping this one up. I think your film festival's over when this one hits. Is there anything else on your horizons?
Hey, I'm done with my film festival. Everybody get vaccinated. please, if you're not vaccinated already. That's my plug.
Is that what you're doing at the film festival?
I will be over having COVID by then. The second time. That's what I'm doing. My plug is get vaccinated so people like me who wear masks and are completely vaccinated stop getting COVID.
What are you coving now?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
Asymptomatic COVIDing. Isn't that great?
All right.
Yeah.
No, it still hasn't. I haven't still not really on the streets of Nagano so much, weirdly, I guess. But
yeah, you're not gonna have an outbreak like we are, I don't think.
Yeah. Because I was I did notice that everyone got it all at once last week, it seems, in the States.
Yeah, a bunch of people I know who are completely careful and isolate and mask and get vaccinated and all are getting it. So that's,
right. Yeah. Okay, as for this one, it is what podcast is this? It's Aural Hygiene.
Aural Hygiene.
It's on
It's Luke
Twitter.
Loves Pokemon.
What? I'm in 2 episodes of that. Three episodes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. 2 of them are just me like ranting in a rice field for 2 minutes, and the other one we just put our sci-fi sanctuary doing Detective Pikachu, as makes sense.
Did you learn about Pokemon?
Not that much.
The movie, yeah, you sort of have to. The movie's great. I liked it more than the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, for whatever that's worth.
I agree.
Around the same. I thought they were both good.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, where were we? Sonic Hedgehog. I got lost.
Completely sidetracking your outro.
Oh, right. I was plugging. I got confused in the middle of my plug. That makes sense. We do all these podcasts like Pokemon, Monster Hunter, sci-fi films under the umbrella of Podcastius. So do that. There's Time Enough Pod, or we do the Twilight Zone. Mark does some of the Twilight Zone. That's the first time we actually said your name in this podcast. That's Mark. He's just a man.
I mean, if they searched the podcast app for my name and that's how they found this episode, then they saw it there.
They worked it out that way. Okay.
I'm sure they did that. Thanks, listeners. You can find me on Stunrunnermusic at twitter.com, where I don't tweet anything.
Okay. Well, let's all find our ways into a closet and trip out, man.